So with this exercise, we're going to practice a mobile first strategy. We're going to configure our page layout to work on smartphones and then work and use media queries to allow it to work on different sizes. So I've created my Chapter 8 response folder, and I've got my Starter 6, my Lighthouse, and my Light. And if I open up my Starter 6 and I launch it in Chrome, I can see that everything kind of displays one after the other. And that's because if I go down here and look at my code, I have a wrapper and everything's within the wrapper, but nothing has a float property. So like our box property, it will display as it's coded: nav, then main, then aside, then footer, which is exactly what we're getting in this file right now. So we're going to come up here and I'm going to go ahead and save this as index.html, and I'm going to come up here. And so what we're going to do is add the meta name equals viewport, content equals width equals device dash width, initial scale equals 1.0. If we save it, run it, should look the same, which it does. So historically in the past, web developers tried to target their websites to specific devices like smartphones or tablets. But really, the modern process is determined by the media query, so as the browser widens, the display begins to look different. So we're going to configure the layout to follow the medium display wireframe. It observes the horizontal header, horizontal navigation, adjacent main, and aside and horizontal footer. So we've got our text, our index.html open. We're going to code a CSS media query after all of the other style rules. So anytime you're doing a media query to help with the responsive, you want to do it at the end of your style rules. So we're going to go at media, min width 600 pixels, and then within this we're going to have nav list items, display inline block, width 7 em, padding 0.5 em, border none, next is our unordered list within our nav, text align center, our main, float left, width 55%, footer, aside, margin left 55%, footer clear both. And then that's the end of our media query, so everything's inside of it. So if we save this and run it, and now as we bring it out to bigger, notice how it starts to adjust now. So see, as we get it a little bigger, now it's starting to look awkward again, right? So we're going to add another media query. So this is when the minimum width was 600. Now we're going to add another one down here. We're going to call it at media min width of 1024 pixels. So each one of these has to be configured different depending on the size. Now I know I'm going to do my nav list item, my UL, my nav, my wrapper, and my body for this one because it's bigger. So I'm going to go nav list item, display block, nav UL, text align left, just my nav, float left, ID of wrapper, width of 80%, margin of auto, max width of 1200 pixels, body, background color, and then there is the end tag for everything within this media query. So save that, launch it in Chrome. So now notice that as it bigger sizes, now I have some background to it, smaller and smallest. Now I'm going to take all this code, because that's again way too much code within an HTML document, put it in its own new style, grid.css, link href equals grid.css, rel equals style sheet, save it, and it should function again exactly the same. Changes and more changes.